Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they pledge you a lifelong commitment. The Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Baby Sam.
Oh no.
I pooped my diaper.
That's the first thing the Muppet Babies do in every episode. They're like, Nanny, guess what time it is?
Excuse me, Nanny, we pooped our diaper.
Well, as you might hopefully be able to guess based on that and the title of the episode, this week we are entering a new era on Commitment because we are starting a brand new TV show. It is time for us to dive into the 1984 animated series Muppet Babies with the first 3 episodes, Noisy Neighbors, Dental Hijinks, and Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Dark. But that's not all, because we also watched some promotional videos for the Muppet Show on tour.
It was a weird week.
A little bit of a weird week.
As the first, maybe poses the first legitimate challenge to my sanity of this podcast.
That cannot be true. I gave you 12 hours of Sesame Street music to listen to one week. Before we jump too far ahead, I wanted to read out a recent 5-star review that we got on Apple Podcasts.
Money in the bank for us.
Max Fett 1138. Possible Star Wars fan.
Boba Fett Jr. Boba's son, Max. Like Goofy has a son named Max.
Max, I'm guessing definitely the real name here, said, being a huge Muppet fan, this is a great podcast to get caught up on the history of the characters in the shows and the movies of the Muppets. All the way from the creation to the present, with their in-depth history on both the different Muppet characters when they're created, who originally performed them, who went on to perform them later, and who presently performs them, as well as the history of the creative forces behind the Muppets and all the different special appearances and programs and commercials that they appeared in.
Thanks, Max. We're going to copy and paste that into the episode description instead of whatever crap we have on there now.
In a recent episode, you did, at the very end of the description for the episode said, and Matt's here too.
Which one? That was the Muppets Take Manhattan one. That felt like really my journey, Matt. This whole thing is your journey overall. This was the episode where it's like where Patrick Starr has his own episode about him, you know.
SpongeBob had he was on vacation that week. Yeah.
Yeah. Patrick's taking care of Gary, and he's learning a lot about himself.
But Gary probably ends up taking care of Patrick, if we're being honest.
Matt, that's a great episode of SpongeBob we just wrote.
It probably exists. Another thing I wanted to cover before we get into today's discussion of Muppet Babies is that Eric Jacobson, who is the performer behind Animal and, a bunch of other characters of the Muppets, specifically a lot of Frank Oz characters, but he was on a Tough Pigs podcast recently talking about the Muppets Mayhem, and he seems, we've talked about this before, he seems like one of the current performers who thinks the most about the canon and the stories behind the characters. Mm-hmm. He was the one who was talking about Miss Piggy and Kermit's relationship once as like, yeah, they're not really there yet. And it was like, oh, interesting that he's thinking about it this way. He talked a bit about the canon and talked about the fact of, Muppet Babies in general, you could say, is just a series that exists in the imagination of Miss Piggy.
Yeah, it's nested within a dream sequence.
Right. And so that was sort of his example of there is no real Muppet canon because all of these things are either like a show they're putting on or an imagination that is happening or all these things. He said even Muppets Mayhem isn't canon because it's a TV show with actors, like Animal is playing a role in Muppets Mayhem, and said that the only thing that you can call canon is probably the Muppet Show.
Okay, I'll have to wrap my head around that.
Yeah. I still maintain that the talk show appearances live inside the canon as well. So I think it is like the Muppet Show and talk show appearances feel canon to me. Mm-hmm. But again, when you have one of the Muppet performers saying there is no real Muppet canon, I think we can all just sort of accept
we have
that.
to believe him. Famously, the Muppet Show, not a TV show, so this logic makes perfect sense.
Well, I think it's the only TV show that they can say that, like, the real Muppets,
they were all being themselves on it.
Right. Like Jimmy Fallon isn't playing a character on The Tonight Show. That's a man named Jimmy Fallon.
Okay. I'm sure there's something that blows that wide open.
Absolutely. I think there's an exception to every rule when
Yeah.
we're trying to delve into Muppet canon here. So
Even Muppet Babies is like, that's all well and good until you get to Muppet Family Christmas. And then it's like, what? How does this make any sense? The Fraggles live in the dream sequence from the Muppets Take Manhattan.
I mean, I prefer the confusion as opposed to something coming in and trying to say, all right, let's explain all of this in one go. It's in a snow globe.
No way.
Problem solved.
That could work. I'm a Zelda timeline guy, you know. I like to see all that stuff laid out. I like to think about this is when where Kermit died. This is the timeline where Kermit died. This is one where he was triumphant against evil.
I mean, we've got a long ways until we get to the movie where Kermit dies. So
Yeah, I forgot he does actually die, doesn't he?
to be fair, he wishes he was never born. So it's not
Yeah.
that Kermit dies, it's that
So
he never
creates
existed.
a timeline. Oh, yes, that's true. He dies in some form. His DNA don't quite make it.
Right, which leads to Scooter being a go-go dancer, of course. But we are decades away from discussing It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas. So for now, Sam, what did we watch this week?
First, we watched a segment of a local Minneapolis show called PM Magazine. In it, the hosts interview the crew behind the stage show, The Muppet Show Live on Tour, the rehearsals for which were occurring in Minneapolis. They watch as a group of assumedly very talented dancers flail around on stage in giant mascot costumes while being screamed at by the director to put more emotion into their performance. There's one particularly haunting moment where a person dressed as Fozzie writhes on the floor in an attempt to breakdance. They also interview the dancers who play Kermit and Piggy, who have seemed to absorb the personality of those characters to an alarming degree, all the way down to how they talk about whether they're married or not in their relationship. Thought they had an interesting dynamic.
Mm-hmm. The one woman claims that her nickname in high school was Kermit, which feels like a lie.
It does feel like a little much, but I guess if you're always running around, maybe she was running around going, whoa, all the time, you know?
I took it as
I
she
can
was
see
like
it.
the organized one who was trying to keep everybody else in line. She mentioned she was on student council in high school.
Yeah. But she's also tiny and a little bit, chirpy. Kind of like, hey there, guys. I could see it. And the other lady looked just like Miss Piggy, the Miss Piggy lady. Didn't you think she looked just like Miss Piggy?
I mean, she had blonde hair, is I think what you're saying.
She had like sleepy eyes too. She was like, if Miss Piggy is turned into a human being, I think she'd look a lot like that. So anyway, after that, we watched a promo video for said stage show. And what else can you really say about it other than Fozzie raps?
I think I'm still dealing with the Fozzie rap because we've seen Jim Henson rap in the Muppet Meeting films before, and
Yeah.
now we have Frank Oz rapping.
That was probably around the same time, I would guess.
They were both
You
like,
think?
I think we can rap.
I think we're
I
rappers.
think we
Yeah.
are rappers now. The world's only breakdancing bear.
It's true, but at what cost? Then we dove into Muppet Babies, starting, of course, with the first episode titled Noisy Neighbors, which aired on September 15th, 1984. Remember the Muppets? They're back. And this time, they're babies. We got Baby Kermit, Baby Fozzie, Baby Piggy, Baby Gonzo, Baby Animal, Baby Rowlf, Baby Scooter, and Scooter's newly revealed twin sister, Baby Skeeter. And they're really loud babies with fertile imaginations that lead them to constantly destroy everything around them and scream a lot, which is a source of frustration for their neighbor, Police Officer Carruthers, who works the night shift and needs to sleep during the day. After a particularly raucous play session, Nanny, who I suppose is their nanny but might also be their parent, adopted or otherwise, tells them that Officer Carruthers has called to tell her that if the Muppet Babies don't shut up, he can't be responsible for what he does to them in a blind rage.
That's not exactly what he said, by the way. That's
At
not.
one point, I think the line, I can't be responsible for what happens, is said. And they do see him, they picture him with a big billy club at one point.
Yes, they jump to the worst case scenario of them actually going to prison.
Well, and we don't meet Officer Carruthers, so we don't know what kind of guy this guy is, Terrified by the threat of physical violence, the babies do indeed shut up, except for Baby Animal, who is too stupid to fear pain. He's screaming and stuff, so they try reading him a book, singing him a song, and watching TV to quiet him down. But all of these things are also really loud, and Officer Carruthers keeps calling to threaten them. Eventually, Officer Carruthers just has to go to work. I'm very tired, I assume, and the Muppet Babies are victorious. Next, we watch Dental Hijinks, airing September 22nd, 1984. While playing Race Car, all the babies have a big crash up, which knocks Baby Fozzie's tooth loose. Nanny says he's got to go to the dentist, and all the babies tell him he's basically gonna die if he goes to the dentist. So they try to extract the tooth themselves, which fails, and Nanny carts Baby Fozzie off to the dentist. The babies talk about how he is surely dead and that they'll never see him again until he comes back, happy as a clam, with a balloon and a lollipop, and suddenly all the babies want to go to the dentist. Couple of questions. Why is Baby Fozzie losing a tooth? Is he like 5 years old? And also, did Nanny just leave all the babies locked in that room when she took Baby Fozzie to the dentist? What's going on here?
I mean, I think that's going to be a question we're going to ask a lot throughout Muppet Babies, but I do think he hurt his tooth when he crashed during the race.
So he could have... When do you start growing teeth?
As a bear?
Well, I don't know, Matt. What are they?
Great
They're
question.
bear men and pig men between 6 and 12 months old. So he could be between 6 and 12 months old. Okay. I take it all back. He's not 5, but he could also be 5. Finally, we watched Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Dark, which aired September 29th, 1984. The baby's friends, Bunsen and Beaker, come to stay the night, and they got a big problem. Beaker's afraid of the dark. The reason? He watched a scary movie, and every time he sleeps, the monster from the movie haunts his nightmares. This fool is so scared of the dark that he won't close his eyes, step into a shadow, or be in a room with a drawn curtain. So the babies do an extremely bad job of trying to convince him that nice things can happen in the dark too, which is a really weird premise, and all they can think of is trick-or-treating, which is notoriously a very scary activity, so that doesn't work at all. Eventually they start playing pretend, and the monster invades their fantasies until eventually they sort of pull him into reality where Beaker kills him, Freddy Krueger style, and they all go to sleep. So aside from the movie Amadeus coming out, nothing that terribly interesting or non-depressing happened in September of 1984. So let's talk about Saturday morning cartoons. Muppet Babies aired on CBS's Saturday morning block, which included 2 TV shows about characters from Greeting Cards, Shirt Tales and the Get Along Gang. Remember those shows?
The Get Along Gang is familiar. Shirt Tales is not familiar to me.
I don't think I ever actually saw Shirt Tails, but I've seen their greeting cards with Shirt Tails on them. It's like a skunk with like a shirt that says, "I'm a little stinker," you know?
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
And you give it to your mom.
You get that and you're like, this is a show. This is a whole show.
This is my favorite show. Also, Dungeons and Dragons, Saturday Supercade, which featured cartoons about Frogger, Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., Q*bert and Pitfall Harry, and Pryor's Place, a short-lived children's show starring Richard Pryor.
There was also Land of the Lost, aired a little bit after Muppet Babies.
After Pryor's Place was canceled, I think Land of the Lost took over.
And a TV show based on the arcade game Pole Position was airing on Saturday mornings.
Too. Yeah.
It looked like...
It says in the description, to be fair, very loosely based on Pole Position.
It looked kind of like Speed Racer, so I'm wondering if it was like in response to Speed Racer, if they were like, we need another race car anime show.
Oh, Speed Racer was so far before this, but I think, America wasn't catching wind of Speed Racer until
It might have also
late
been
70s.
an older show that was being re-aired. I don't really know.
A lot of them looked like they were just reruns because they weren't bold on Wikipedia. Over on ABC, you could catch Super Friends, Dragon's Lair, Rubik, The Amazing Cube, which was about a magic living Rubik's Cube, a variety of Scooby-Doo shows, and Wolf Rock TV, a short-lived children's show starring Wolfman Jack. Every kid loves Wolfman Jack, right?
Of course. They all watch American Graffiti when they're little kids, and they're like, man, that guy, I want him on my Saturday mornings.
Or you could
Good
check
morning,
out
kids. This is Wolfman Jack.
Oh, I didn't even look up what it looks like. I'll look it up in a minute. Or you could check out NBC and watch the accursed Snorks, Pink Panther and Sons, starring the Pink Panther's sons, Pinky and Panky, the Smurfs, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Kid Video, Mr. T, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and Going Bananas, a short-lived live-action comedy starring an orangutan that is given superpowers by an alien. So, Saturday mornings were still pretty bad at this point.
Man, the 80s were wild.
We were just about to get the good shit that was selling you toys. We were about to have He-Man. We were about to have G.I. Joe and Thundercats and stuff. But right now is a lot of greeting card characters.
Greeting cards and weird celebrities.
The video games thing, that makes sense. But Wolfman Jack, yeah, Mr. T.
The two most relaxing, calm voices you want talking to your children.
Well, the Mr. T cartoon is beloved still, I think. Yeah. Like, that is something you'll still see pop up.
I did want to let you know, Sam, I looked up on the Encyclopedia SpongeBobia, that there's a whole page for Patrick and Gary's relationship and says Patrick can be very harmful to Gary. An example is in
What?
Pet Sitter Pat, when he tries to force Gary to take a bath, both with a hose and a flamethrower, and then uses salt on him.
That kills snails.
In this episode, he also does not bother to feed him. They're both mean to each other in that episode until the end, where Gary reads Patrick a bedtime story.
Okay, so they already did
They
this
did the episode exactly as
What
we
year
pitched
did it come out?
That came out in 2011, it looks like.
I think the statute of limitations on that has
We
run
could do
out.
it
I think
again.
we can make a new episode about that, yeah.
All right.
All those kids are grown up. I looked up the Wolfman Jack cartoon. It's not even a flattering cartoon of Wolfman Jack. He's just like a guy in a sweater vest. And he's got a parrot with sunglasses as a best friend and a mohawk.
I mean, you're selling me on it.
Can you imagine? Like, somebody walked in and pitched this, and then somebody else said, great, I love it.
It has to be entirely based off the idea of like, hey, American Graffiti was popular, right?
I guess so. But when did that movie come out?
Mid-70s?
So
It took him 6-7 years to be like, hey, that guy
it
should
came
be
out
a
in
cartoon.
1973. So it took him 10 years to say that guy should be a cartoon.
I mean, he was probably still a pretty popular DJ at this point. I don't know a whole lot about Wolfman Jack's career, but
Yeah, it could be. You know what? I don't blame him for it at all. I think he got paid. And that's all you can do in this life.
if somebody came to you right now and said, hey, we want to make a Saturday morning cartoon about you, you're not going to say no.
I would think in my head, that's a very bad idea. And I would say with my mouth, fuck yes. The Commitment Crew. And we could go around in a van. Maybe we could be like an official show and we could get one of the Muppets. If we were driving around in a van, what Muppet would be helping us solve podcast-based crimes?
Probably Scooter, if we're being honest.
Scooter's just us, though.
I know.
We can't have Scooter.
Then it would have
We
to be like
somebody
Sam
weird.
Eagle or something, like some contrast with somebody trying to keep us in line.
Oh, I think you'd have to be. I think it'd just be Animal, probably.
Oh.
It would be like, oh, Animal.
Every episode ends with that.
Yeah. You had all clues. The murderer was acquitted. Whoopsie.
Well, getting into the rest of what was going on in the Muppet world in September 1984, on Jim's Red Book, they noted, obviously, the premiere of Muppet Babies on September 15th. And both on there and in Brian J. Jones's book, they stop to highlight the fact that this led to many imitators, some more successful than others, because soon there would be baby versions of Looney Tunes characters, Tom and Jerry, Scooby-Doo, and eventually the Sesame Street Muppets would all have baby versions made of them.
Huh. What's your favorite baby spinoff? Does Tiny Toons count as a
Tiny
baby
Toons,
spinoff?
I think, counts.
I
I
think
think
that
it's
one takes the
technically
cake.
not, because there are baby versions of the Looney Tunes
Right.
characters out there.
Right.
But I think Tiny Toons probably falls into that same category.
Yeah. What sets that one over the top is that nobody's wearing a diaper. I hate when they're wearing a diaper.
I think it's like a lot of Muppets, when one is wearing a diaper, then you're then concerned about why the other ones aren't wearing a diaper.
Yeah.
September 16th, 1984, Jim wrote in his journal, met Edgar Kaiser. This begins Calliope Project. Jim and David Laser met with Edgar Kaiser, who is just a super rich guy, and Robert Nixon, who made nature documentaries, to hear about an idea for a TV series called Aboard the Calliope, Around the World in 13 Hours with Muppets and Friends.
That sounds wacky and fun.
Yeah, so apparently back in this day, Edgar Kaiser, who would eventually go on to like own the Denver Broncos and a bunch of other things, was described as a swashbuckling, buttoned-up young mogul with a Playboy lifestyle and a 150-foot yacht named Calliope.
Oh. So they were on his boat.
That was the idea. He also, basically, it seems like he became super rich and was like, I should do something good with this money. And so he started a new foundation dedicated to lobbying governments to address addiction and mental health issues. This all seems positive. I will say, I don't know much about Edgar Kaiser as a person. Some of the word choices he uses and some of the quotes I'm about to read, a little troubling out of context. But it seems like maybe best intentions. I don't know what became of this.
It was 1984. We didn't know jack shit in 1984.
Well, so Kaiser explained that, this is a direct quote, with the birth of each and every child, there comes a promise to renew mankind. And that's the line that sort of was like, red flag. I don't love that the way you're thinking about children coming into the world just being, your responsibility is to renew mankind, young one. But so he wanted to do something with Jim Henson that would somehow lead to those goals being achieved, of helping out the world with mental health and addiction and all these things. And so he formed this nonprofit, and he was going to shoot 13 episodes of a program featuring Muppet characters and human guests aboard the, quote, scientifically high-tech yacht Calliope as they visit such varied wonders as the headwaters of the Chinese Yangtze River, the volcanic kingdoms of Indonesia, the frozen vastness of the Arctic. And this just sounds very hard to do.
It's like, who's the Steve Zissou guy, but real? Jacques Cousteau.
Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah. Like, in theory, I like this idea. I don't love that it's centered around just some billionaire guy.
Yeah.
But I think it could be cool. But they'd have to be on a boat for a long-ass time.
Yeah, and his idea was that they would have, like, an adult human scientist and a naturalist along with a Muppet. The Muppet would be a billionaire enlightened walrus.
Okay. Wait, what?
They were also going to have Scooter,
Oh, he makes sense.
a macaw, and a lemur.
So they would just be like, here, Richard, get on this boat for a few months?
It seems that way because the macaw and the lemur, it says, would be realistic, and shots would cut back and forth between live animals and realistic characters. So like a foo-foo situation where they have a real parrot on set and then a Muppet parrot
Fly
to be like,
in
"Wah!"
and go behind a box and then pop out and be like a guy.
Right. So, yeah, very strange. This did not come to fruition, but I don't know if they ever made a version of this that was like maybe Zaboomafoo came from this man. Who knows? But yeah, a wild idea.
Okay, so the billionaire wouldn't necessarily, like the real guy wouldn't be in the show necessarily.
Didn't
He's just naming his
seem like
boat
it.
after the boat in the show.
I think they were going to use his boat.
His boat.
And maybe the walrus is supposed to be him, which is why it's called a billionaire and enlightened.
Enlightened, yes, I'm very smart.
I mean, it does say that in the Red Book that Jim continued to explore opportunities to use television to bring children together around the world, to hear the rhythms of nature and improve the quality of life on Earth, including in 1986 idea for Muppet Voyager, which would have been another traveling around the globe show, but instead of a yacht, it would be a spaceship. September 18th, 1984, Jim did a lecture and presentation at MIT. Unfortunately, couldn't find anything of that. September 24th, 1984, Jim wrote In San Francisco, meeting with George Lucas, Laura Phillips, Larry Milken, and Mira V. This is essentially the team getting ready to work on Labyrinth, and it was also Jim's 48th birthday.
Oh, yes.
And they had an all-day...
He got Muppet babies for his birthday present.
Yeah, and an all-day meeting to discuss the latest draft of Labyrinth.
He doesn't seem like a guy who'd really be that hung up about that.
No. If anything, this might be his dream birthday. So this draft, the most recent draft, was written by Laura Phillips. The final shooting script would be finished and ready to shoot in April of 1985, with Terry Jones of Monty Python ultimately getting the credit for the script. Although Laura Phillips, I think, is acknowledged in the credits at the end. September 25th and 26th, 1984, Jim writes, France, PR Fraggle Rock. So this is Jim going to do some PR efforts in France in the fall of 1984. And apparently the show was a huge hit there and drew huge numbers of viewers and spawned dozens of licensed products from bedsheets to planters. But yeah, that is all the rest of the stuff that Jim Henson was up to in September 1984. First, we should probably talk about this Muppet Show on tour. Unfortunately, we do not get to see the entire live, 45-minute, hour-long show. We just get some behind the scenes.
I think it would have hurt me if I was to watch all of this.
I'd want to watch it in person, which obviously is impossible. But
Yeah.
there's so little happening at the same time as there's way too much happening that I can't imagine what those in-between moments are like of just a bored-looking gonzo strolling across the stage being like, all right, I gotta go sing my song now.
Yeah, or he's just like sashaying across the stage. Everybody's just moving so much. I think this is the kind of thing that, like, I saw Cats, not on Broadway or nothing. It was in Alabama, like a touring production of it. And every now and then I'll have, like, a troubling flashback where I see, like, the cats running down the aisles.
Oh, God.
Or, like, that big tire lift off into outer space. I think this is the kind of thing where you would grow, as you grew up, you'd be like, every now and then you'd be like, whoa. I remember when Fozzie was like 4 inches from me and he was rapping.
I do have, I didn't go to this as a child, but I went to Power Rangers live on stage
Okay.
And they had, at the end, the villain was a giant inflatable Lord Zed.
Sweet.
And that's burned into my memory for sure. And we were in the front row, and the putties were down in the front row, like wiggling around in front of us.
Oh, no, and they kidnapped you, and the Power Rangers had to save you for real.
If only.
And then at the end, they said, "You're an honorary Power Ranger, Matt. Anytime you need us, we'll be here. Goodbye."
And so far, I haven't needed them, so I've just kind of...
You haven't even called them.
Haven't even
They've
given
just
them
been
a
sitting
shout.
around waiting for you. They gave you the little knife flute. You haven't played it one damn time in your life.
They're all 50 years old now, and they're going to be really mad when I call. One notable thing that really stood out to me when watching these clips from the Muppet Show on tour is the Flying Zucchini Brothers being so
prominent.
very prominent, and this is the last time we'll see them for 30 years. I think it was like, hey, we need some, background actors who can
Basically
be on
anything
stage and
Muppets.
moving things around and helping out.
Oh, they're the stagehands.
Yes.
Right. Like for real, they're the stagehands.
Right.
I get it.
That's what I think is like they're the helping hands who also dance occasionally, but they didn't want to have that many main characters actually doing things. And so those are characters you can put on stage and they can do a little
Right.
bit, but you're not expecting too much from them.
Right. It's just the Flying Zucchini Brothers.
But yeah, the news report, adds some more information to this that you talked about where they were rehearsing in Minnesota, apparently. And we get some behind the scenes clips, which were the most upsetting part of this, I think, is when you see them instructing the people on stage and they're just standing around extremely bored. And you just see like an adult slouching over as Gonzo, just like watching someone give them
that
instructions.
shot was scary. Yeah. I really thought one of them was going to take their head off, and then I'd be really like, that's not right. I never want to say, like, a job's a job, and I never want to be like, how ridiculous that they're doing this. But this one seemed tough. And there was moments where they would start like really busting on stuff. Like they were like, the heads are fucking impossible to see out of. It sucks to dance in them. The Miss Piggy one is the worst of all. She got these giant heavy boobs on the front of her. I assume is why it was so heavy.
I mean, they didn't get that specific, but they did say that the costume is very hot, very heavy, and has the worst visibility of all the characters. Yeah. We do get to see the director yelling at breakdancing Fozzie, "More energy!" Like, come on!
But he really is just like flopping so sadly on the ground.
Yeah. Another bizarre thing that we see in this is Dr. Bunsen Honeydew. For some reason, he is extremely tall.
Yeah, they like tilt up, like stilt up his head. They put his head on a riser.
To me, it almost looks like that should be Beaker.
Oh,
and they
put the head on the wrong guy.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like that body shape, because basically all the other walk-around Muppets, the person has a mask, like a Disney mascot, where the Kermit head is over their head. They're looking out the mouth or the eyes, whatever. Mm-hmm. Bunsen's, for some reason, the human face would be at bow tie level. And then Bunsen's head is like a hat on top of this person's head.
He's got the easiest head to turn into a head to wear on your head.
And notoriously, not a tall Muppet.
Short guy.
So I'm thinking maybe they made a Beaker and then changed their minds.
Maybe it was too tall as Beaker. I thought it was interesting that this seemed to be a sequel to Muppets Take Manhattan in some way. Like, they bring up very often, and in the play it seems like they bring up too, if Miss Piggy and Kermit are married or not.
I mean,
like this would give us some closure, perhaps.
This would have been the thing people saw just after they saw Muppets Take Manhattan in the theaters. So it would have been just a couple months later. They're like, more Muppets, all right. Did you guys get married? Because, somehow this also still ends in a, are they actually married, though?
Now, we've transitioned from will they get married to are they actually married? It just is never going to end.
No, because the last thing we saw in Muppets Take Manhattan is them getting married on stage.
They were married.
The end.
Seems pretty definitive to me. But and the actors are both just like, the Miss Piggy and Kermit actors are both playing along, too.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bizarre, and I think it's hard to remember how prevalent these kinds of live shows were back in the 80s and 90s. Yeah. Because this comes off
the Ice Capades.
Right. We've seen some clips and some footage from the Sesame Street Live stuff. So, Muppets had essentially already been doing this kind of thing. And they will continue to do this kind of thing. We will also see a Muppet Show on Tour 2nd edition in 1985, along with some Muppet Baby live shows as well. So they're not stopping anytime soon.
But imagine how cool it would be. So all I could think of was imagine how cool it would be if they could figure out how to do a traveling puppet show, Like, how cool it would be to go and see the Muppet Show live,
Right.
like, for real. This and Muppet Babies felt more than anything that we've ever seen like a first idea, basically, of just like, this is the easiest way we can do this, so we're just going to do it this way.
It felt like a cash grab.
Yes, it did. But it did say like some company in cooperation with Jim Henson, whatever.
Yeah.
Jim Henson and Associates. So maybe they didn't really have that much to do with it. But they did record all the voices, so I don't know.
Right, yeah. It's not truly like bastardized production here. It does seem like the Muppet performers actually did care about putting in good work into this, because we see Janice singing Rollin'.
Yeah,
you know,
that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nice to see her have a lead song with the Mayhem.
yeah, she's like a lead singer. Of course, Lips not here. Seems like maybe they're giving up on Lips at this point.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit about Lips back then.
No, they had him around for a little bit on Muppet Show, and then very quickly were like, yeah, we don't need him, I think.
Yeah.
The Muppets notably are all playing guitars right-handed in the Mayhem, which the Mayhem does not actually play right-handed traditionally.
If you had been there as a child, you would have been like, wrong. You're doing it wrong.
That's not my Floyd.
And it sucks to see Zoot dance that much. Like, he's just moving so much, and seeing their legs move so much, it's just like, the Muppets don't move that much.
It's a little bit
you
like
can't see him moving that
when
much.
we saw Sop with the camel, and we're like, oh, that's just man legs. Like, you can just see
Yeah.
the human man legs so clearly that you're like, it's hard for me to believe that that's an actual camel right now. And this is the same way where it's like, I feel like I can see through the head with X-ray vision and see the performer inside.
Sweating their balls off.
Yeah, just being like, I am Zoot right now. I must embody Zoot.
And like the Mayhem backing up Fozzie and his rap. I feel like there'd be a whole episode of the Muppet Show where they'd be like, we're not doing a novelty rap act. I'm sorry. We're absolutely not doing this.
When you see, there's so much walking around in these promo clips between things. And you see when Piggy's a mermaid, she's getting into a shell, and the Zucchini Brothers and Floyd and Zoot are just kind of helping her get into place for her performance. And they don't even have like special costumes on, really. They're just Floyd and Zoot helping Piggy, who's a mermaid. And then, yeah, I think the biggest moment of all of this is getting to see Fozzie rap multiple times. And I said, this may not be the worst thing we've ever watched, but it's close.
I just could picture Frank in the recording studio, and I felt so bad for him. But maybe he loved it. I don't know. But this felt like a shark jumping moment to me for some reason. This feels bad.
I think if they had done this as a live, like, on TV show, like a Saturday night ABC special, watch the Muppet Show live, people would be like, wow, the Muppets have really gone downhill. But because this was relegated to a live show that only people saw on tour, and there's a certain level of expectation for those kinds of things, I think they get away with it.
I think it's also interesting that Kermit has his sweater vest and jeans on like he does in the comic strip.
Yeah.
Like maybe they made a naked Kermit and then they were like, well, those legs are not going to work. I'm sorry. Too muscular.
We get to see Kermit, though, in a fancy top hat and tails performing Happy Feet.
Yeah, totally destroying the joke of the skit, Happy Feet.
Yes, that is very true. And the whole promo video ends with, brace yourself, America, as Animal rushes the screen.
It's a threat.
Yeah.
It's a threat. I gotta wonder if this feels like something that would have gone to the Butte Civic Center. I wonder if it did. I wonder if it toured anywhere.
Ooh,
in
you could probably look up the touring schedule of the Muppet Show on tour.
Because we got the Ice Capades back in the day.
Well, getting into Muppet Babies, the first episode is Noisy Neighbors, written by Jeffrey Scott, who developed the concept for the TV show and was the series' sole writer for the first 3 seasons.
Whoa. For the first 3 seasons, he wrote every episode?
Yeah. I'm sure there was a writer's room helping him out.
Yeah.
But he is the one who gets the credit for them. And then I've not looked too far ahead, so I'm not entirely sure what happens after that, if we get like a new team of consistent writers or we get a bunch of different writers. But yeah.
How long do you think it would take you to write like 60 episodes of Muppet Babies?
Oh, that's a bold question. I
bet you could just sit down like a week and just be like,
I mean, we wrote an
seasons,
episode
there
of
you go.
SpongeBob a few minutes ago, so clearly we're good at
That's
this.
That's true. All you have to do is say, Beaker's afraid of the dark. Fozzie's afraid of the dentist. Gonzo's afraid of spiders, and then you have 3 episodes, and that's like, you know, a fourth of a season
Yeah.
or whatever.
Well, I guess I want to start off with, we have this theme song, the Muppet Babies theme song, which is maybe the Muppet thing I'm the most personally nostalgic for, because I watched a ton of
Interesting.
Muppet Babies as a kid. And so this theme song is just ingrained in my head.
It's a good theme song, I got to admit.
It's got some bizarre lyrics.
It does. Does it say, when your room is kind of weird? Is that what the first line is?
I believe so, and you wish that you weren't there. But we learn a little bit about the characters in the theme song. Kermit says, I like adventure. I guess kind of makes sense.
I like to be a stage producer.
Yeah. I
Not
like
as cool, I guess.
producing. Piggy says, I like romance. Checks out. Fozzie says, I love great jokes. That's subjective.
Well, he thinks he does.
Yeah, Animal just says animal dance. I think we're going to talk a lot about Animal today. Scooter says, I've got my computer. Skeeter says,
And then my little alarm went off. What?
with I've got my computer?
Yeah. This fool's never been smart that we've seen.
Well, he's just a nerd. Doesn't mean he's smart.
I guess that's true, but he's not even a nerd. He's like a creep.
Skeeter says, I swing through the air. Rowlf says, I play the piano. And Gonzo says, and I have blue hair.
I think that's really funny. I love Baby Gonzo in this. He's great.
Yeah, and we do surprisingly see Bunsen and Beaker in the theme song, where Bunsen just says, me, I invent things. And Beaker, of course, doesn't say anything.
Just goes beep, beep, beep. But yeah, were they supposed to be like a bigger part of the show at one point? Or?
I hope not. We'll get to that. But yeah, what do you think of the voices of these Muppets?
I think Baby Rowlf and Baby Gonzo are amazing. I love those 2 freaking little guys. Piggy does a pretty good job, but I think she lays it on a little thick with the over enunciation of things. But it's pretty good. I think like I could see a world in which like Piggy's recast as an adult as this person voicing Piggy maybe. Fozzie kind of just also sounds like Fozzie. Scooter and Skeeter I have major problems with. Skeeter I do not like at all.
Fozzie to me sounds a bit more like modern Eric Jacobson Fozzie than Frank Oz Fozzie, which is a very subtle difference. But I think it is more, if there's a spectrum of Oz to Jacobson, Greg Berg's Baby Fozzie is slightly closer to Jacobson.
Baby Animal I have no problem with. Baby Kermit I just didn't get a good read on. Just like regular Kermit, he's a little bit of a mystery to me. Well,
so we'll run through the voice cast here, because some of them are definitely recognizable. Baby Kermit is performed by Frank Welker, the man of, I'm not even going to say 1,000, I'll say 1 billion voices, because he is Scooby-Doo, he is Fred, he is Abu the monkey in Aladdin, he is Megatron, and 1,000 other voices. Literally.
To be Megatron and Baby Kermit.
Yeah.
How?
He's also
amazing.
Every animal that ever needs to react to something in a movie where they just need a dog to be like, huh? That's just Scooby-Doo, to be fair. But when they need other animals to also do that, they just cast Frank Welker. And you'll see in the credits, like Tiger, voiced by Frank Welker. And it's amazing.
What are we going to do when he's gone?
I mean, D. Bradley Baker's, I think, trying to pick up the mantle a little bit. But it is, heavy as the head when it comes to the Frank Welker throne.
Who's going to play all of our wacky animals?
Piggy is voiced by Laurie O'Brien, who did just a lot of cartoon voices. Fozzie and Scooter are voiced by Greg Berg. Rowlf is voiced by Katie Lee. Gonzo is voiced by Russi Taylor, who was not only Martin Prince, Sherry, and Terry on The Simpsons.
I was so excited because I could tell, like when she started talking. Yes, I heard Martin Prince instantly. I was like, "Fuck yes!"
Also, very notably, Russi Taylor was the voice of Minnie Mouse from 1986 until her death in 2019.
She's the lady who was married to the guy who played Mickey
Correct.
Mouse also.
She was married to Wayne Allwine, who was the voice of Mickey from 1977 until his death in 2009.
I think of everybody. I think Baby Gonzo is legitimately is good. I think like there could be like a Gonzo cartoon just about him. Because she brings so much to his character. I think
he's definitely got the most I think personality so far. Russi Taylor also did the voice of Robin, who we have not seen yet. Frank Welker does Beaker because again. You need random noises. Yep.
A guy that does weird noises, you get this guy.
Barbara Billingsley, the mom from Leave It to Beaver, is the voice of Nanny.
Oh, okay.
And then currently, Howie Mandel is the voice of Animal. He's also the voice of Bunsen and Skeeter. those two are easier to tell because they sound exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Yeah.
But he will be the voice of those three from 1984 through 1985, which I believe are the first 2 or 3 seasons. Then Dave Coulier will take over the role of Animal, and Dave Coulier will also take over the role of Bunsen, but Frank Welker will take over the role of Skeeter, which will be an interesting shift. And we'll also eventually get to hear Dave Coulier be the voice of Baby Bean Bunny, Uncle Statler and Uncle Waldorf, and Janice.
Dave Coulier playing both Statler and Waldorf. Eh?
Yep.
This is fascinating.
And then at some point, doing additional voices in season 3, we will hear Peter Cullen.
He plays Smoggy the Bear.
All right.
Who he plays. I bet he sounds like Optimus Prime.
Yeah, everyone's just like, hello, I am a bear.
Oh, I forgot you could do such a good Optimus Prime voice.
Why do you think I mentioned Peter Cullen? I'm like, well, here's my time to shine. That's what, when Peter Cullen sadly leaves this earth, call me up. Well, here we go, Sam. I need to know, how you feeling about Muppet Babies?
This show is pure evil.
What?
This show is going to be the death of me.
Pure evil?
Yeah. This show is too fucking long. Why didn't they make 2 11-minute episodes every time? They have to stretch every premise so thin that every episode, it's just like one sentence. It's just like Beaker's afraid of the dark and they help him. But the way they do it is so insane, it's not even worth writing down. It's like, Nanny gives him a blindfold and he puts on the blindfold and sees terrifying eyes. And then Kermit puts on the blindfold and sees the same terrifying eyes. What is this haunted blindfold that Nanny has?
Yeah, I, for some reason, was going into it. And when I first started the first episode, I had that thought of, are these 11-minute episodes? Are these just like they did 2 of them back to back, like a lot of the cartoons were doing back then? But no, we get full 24-minute episodes of Muppet Babies. And I think it's really interesting that the examples you keep pulling are from the Beaker episode as the worst things, because for me, that is far and away the worst of these 3 episodes.
Oh, I actually liked that one the best.
Oh,
I think
wild.
the pilot episode was a slog. I had to pause it and walk around for a while and then go back and watch that one because it's so disjointed. Like, it's just like, this is what we do on this show, which is totally fair. But the Officer Carruthers thing was just like, what are you talking about? You live next door to an evil police officer who doesn't want your babies to make sounds? Who thought of this? And now we know.
But yeah, the first episode, Noisy Neighbors, starts off with them playing in a submarine and a battleship. Notably, Scooter, Skeeter, Animal, and Rowlf are on the battleship team, and Fozzie, Piggy, Kermit, and Gonzo are in the cardboard box submarine. And right away, something I learned that I like about the show is how freaking weird it gets and how there's not a lot of rules happening here, and they're just going to let weird stuff happen because as they're chasing down the submarine, Scooter yells down to the engine room, which is where Rowlf is, that, full steam ahead. And Rowlf, a baby, picks up the couch above his head and carries it across the room.
He's not strong in other episodes either.
No, we don't see this trait any other time.
Get Baby Beauregard if you want a strong guy, but that would be awful.
I don't want to see Baby
Beauregard.
Beauregard.
I would not like that.
No, thank you.
I don't think Beauregard was ever a baby.
He's just a lump of dirty rags that formed in a closet and became a human.
Yeah, I was going to say he was just a pile of dirt that woke up one day.
A pile of dirt fell in love with a pile of rags and made Beauregard. Right out the gate, I love Baby Animal. He is so threatening and chaotic at every turn that he feels like an actual threat to their everyday life. Like in this episode, they're trying to just like calmly explain to him, like, we need to be quiet because there's a police officer who might arrest us if we don't. And he's just like, I'm going to eat this chair.
He eats a lot of chairs.
He keeps pulling pieces off of the like railing and just chowing down. He seems like an actually threatening animal, which is an interesting choice for them to do for Baby Animal.
Well, yeah, and Animal was actually threatening in the Muppet Show. So like, Animal hasn't really been defanged at this point. He at this point, like today, Animal is not as dangerous for sure.
No, but when you age down all of your characters, so that the adult traits are mostly taken away from all of the other Muppets.
Right.
So the fact that you still have Animal being just as dangerous as he was in the Muppet Show, I was a little surprised by.
Are there adult traits mostly taken away?
I guess as far as like they all seem like childlike versions of their adult
Right.
traits.
Right. But I would say animals most accurately childlike because children destroy everything they touch.
This is also when the first Officer Carruthers message comes down from Nanny. This is where we get a little insight into their characters again. Scooter.
Maybe the Muppet Babies are in jail.
Oh. That's why they live next door to a cop?
Yeah, they're in maximum security prison. It's like they don't know it, but they are. They've been locked away.
Later on, there'll be an episode where they realize they can't actually leave.
Uh-huh. They can't actually leave.
Will we
They're
ever
in
see them
that-
outside?
Will we is what I want to know too,
I don't
because
know.
it's a little creepy to think that they're in that room every episode for 5 years.
And that, the point of the show was Jim Henson encouraging kids to play pretend, to use your imagination.
That seems like something he thought up after the show was done.
I don't think so at all.
This is what bothers me so much about this show. Other Muppet projects, other Henson projects, he sees something like a commercial. He says, I could do that, but weird.
Mhm.
I could do that, but interesting. This show is so formally similar to a regular Saturday morning cartoon.
Mm.
There is no twist on it in the same way. And it was the same with the stage show we just saw. He's not looking at it and thinking like, how do we make it my way? He's thinking, how do we take this thing and put Muppets in it? Which is so
Right.
different than every other project we've seen before, I think.
Yeah, and I wonder if that has to do with just like a different production team working on it. Like obviously
Yeah.
they were there for the development of the show to like shape
Yeah.
things, but they're not there day to day, like
Yeah.
voicing these characters or writing the scripts. So I wonder if that's just having a different development team.
Yeah. That's kind
Um,
of interesting too that they didn't do like I wonder how the decision was made that they wouldn't voice these characters. Just too much time?
Yeah, I think in the Defunct Land episode, they mention that it was due to scheduling. I'm not sure necessarily if that comes from Brian J. Jones's book or elsewhere, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think it was just down to like the voice actors do this stuff all day, every day, so they're more.
Oh, I
like-
wonder if it was maybe even like union stuff, maybe. or
There's a
something
chance,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
But also, just because they're good at puppeteering these characters doesn't necessarily
That's
mean
true.
they'd be good at doing voice acting.
Yeah. Richard kind of does voice acting for Junior. So, like, I could see like maybe Richard and Jerry are sitting there being like, I would have voiced Baby Scooter. Like, that's no problem.
But Scooter is the one who's afraid that they're going to be sent to jail.
Mhm.
Gonzo worries they'll be sent to the Twilight Zone, while
for
Fozzie
some reason.
worries that they're going to spread peanut butter on his face and forget the jelly.
Yeah, and this is something Fozzie keeps doing. When he says
Yeah.
something crazy and everybody's like, what? He's like, never mind. Gonzo should be doing that, in my
I
opinion.
don't think either of them should be doing it.
Well, if anybody's gonna do it, it should be Gonzo.
Mm.
Because that sounds like something Gonzo would say, right?
Yeah, it is much more of a Gonzo trait than a Fozzie trait to just say something completely insane
Yeah.
and for everyone to go, what the hell are you talking about? And him just go,
Yeah.
never mind. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, that's apparently Fozzie's thing is that he's the least intelligent baby. And he's going to say something
So
nonsensical every
stupid.
episode.
He's the stupidest, most pathetic baby of all of them.
Yeah, when they're in the submarine, they're like, dive, dive, dive. He jumps out of the box and just head first into the floor.
And the way that he lands, it's like on Family Guy when Peter like lands and his limbs are like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
talking
like a
about?
botched
He
wrestling
looks
move or something.
dead. Yeah.
And Kermit's not even that concerned. He's just like, not you, Fozzie.
Fozzie, you moron. Get ready for a whole life of that, Kermit. No wonder you hate this guy so much.
And we get our first real pretend scene happening here because Piggy decides to calm down Animal by reading him a story. And the story is the story of Princess Piggy.
What do you think about baby Piggy? She's nothing so far.
I mean, she's
my
Piggy,
Yeah,
who's
I guess
also,
so.
like, not that deep of a character all the time.
I suppose that's true.
We talked about this with Muppets Take Manhattan, where they kind of gave her the worst
Yeah.
storyline of all the other characters. So I feel
Right.
like this is somewhat similar to that. And I see why they wanted to add Skeeter to this mix is because they wanted another female character who was not just, I am the princess, I am the diva, I am the whatever. They wanted
Mhm.
like an athletic girl character. But the princess's day is upset by a dancing dragon who says every time he dances, the castle breaks. And Fozzie says, maybe he's a break dancer.
The Fozzie thing of being bad at jokes is way sadder when he's a baby. especially when everybody boos him or like throws tomatoes at him. It's like, this is a baby.
Yeah, kids tell bad jokes all the time. The fact that this kid understands joke structure is impressive.
Yeah. They don't give Fozzie an inch in this show. They are ready to jump on his ass at all times.
Something I like throughout that we've seen so far is that they picked up something that is minimal in the Muppet Show, but I remember us talking about, and that's the fact that Gonzo flirts with Miss Piggy.
Yeah, I noticed that too. They really like brought that back in a big way.
Yeah. In this pretend princess scene, we see Sir Kermit, Sir Fozzie, and Sir Gonzo all fighting to slay the dragon to win Piggy's hand. Piggy does not want Fozzie to win. She stole his sword, so he is sent off seemingly to get him killed by the dragon.
And he does indeed get killed.
Yeah, he tries to make jokes, and the dragon jumps up and sits on him.
Yeah, the dragon slams him up his own asshole. And we never see Fozzie again.
Never
in this
again.
dream sequence, I don't think.
And of course, Kermit, for some reason, refuses to fight the dragon and chooses to dance with it instead.
Because he knows he's a smart guy. And the dragon dancing is pretty good animation. There's like, you can tell that this show is made by several different animation companies, I think. Because there's some where it's like, this is obviously like beautiful, like an anime studio drew.
A lot of the
this
side
segment of the
characters,
show.
when they need weird monsters and stuff, are really, really fun designs. And
Yeah,
some that I
yeah.
was like, oh, I wish that was a puppet.
Yeah,
like in
the
the-
dragon looks great.
Yeah, in the dentist episode, some of the dental tools that are attacking them would be great puppets. Officer Carruthers calls again, and this is when the babies are afraid that the entire police force is going to come for them. And now they're all in striped prisoners' outfits trying to escape from jail.
Is this when Baby Gonzo sees a Star Destroyer?
Yeah, he opens the door thinking that they can go out, and the Star Destroyer from Star Wars is there shooting, and he's like, well, we can't go that way.
And then he says, well, we can never show this show in syndication ever.
Yeah, it'd be less tricky now, I guess, because Disney owns that.
Right.
But I'm sure at some point the release of this onto VHS and DVD was discussed, and they were like, yeah, that's a licensing nightmare. No, thank you.
Yeah.
And Rowlf is still trying to figure out how to put Animal to sleep. This is where we get the first song in Muppet Babies, which apparently are just all going to be the same genre of music.
Many of them are almost indistinguishable from each
Yeah.
other. They're all doo-wop, yeah.
Which is very funny because occasionally they'll say it's gonna be a different kind of music, and it's not.
A very different kind of music.
These
in
songs
one
were apparently
case.
written by Alan O'Day and Janice Liebhart, who wrote nearly 100 songs for the show.
Wow.
I think notably, Rowlf, this is not a calm lullaby. This is like a surf rock doo-wop
Yeah, Ralph
song.
fucks up.
In the song, though, Fozzie mentions that he says his prayers before bed. So, confirmed Christian Fozzie?
I think that actually makes a ton of sense for Fozzie. Because his mom is, she looks like somebody who would make him say his prayers. She looks like she's got like a little Jesus statue and sitting on her front little entryway.
Is it a bear Jesus?
Okay, Matt, this is a really good question. I don't know. I bet animals worship some kind of nature god that we don't understand.
Well, I'm definitely not going to be able to dispute that. So we'll move on to the rest of the episode here, where they watch a news report and flip through some TV channels.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like seeing humans on this show.
No, and the humans are, so the one guy's almost just Muppet Newsman. I don't know why they didn't.
He
just make
should have
him
been.
Muppet Newsman. But also there's some, in the Super Gonzo segment that's about to happen, there's some humans who are designed to look like Muppets, I think, but they're colored like peach. And it's like, ugh, not right. I don't like it. They should be wacky colors.
Yeah, they could be like Muppet whatnots of like, this one's purple, this one's pink, this one's orange, like... But yeah, they just have like regular humans in these fantasy segments. But we do get Super Gonzo in Muppetropolis, the big applesauce. Cluck Kent is his secret identity. And he's in love with Piggy Lane, which, again, having Gonzo and Piggy not actually be like a couple in any way because they're babies. But Gonzo clearly interested in Piggy.
I don't like when he says, she honked my nose, though. Don't say that.
But there's more good lines in this section. I believe it's Gonzo says, "Where was I?" And Baby Kermit says, "I believe you were plunging towards certain doom."
Mm-hmm. This is an okay segment. I like Super Gonzo, all right.
Well, Animal disagrees with you because he jumps into the TV yelling, "Boring!"
Are they really jumping into the TV?
No?
Okay. They're not really doing any of this stuff.
No. This is
There's a point. Yeah, there's some stuff that happens in the Beaker Bunsen one where I'm a little bit like, what can they see and not see? How is this working?
I think they have a collective imagination. Is I think what we're getting from this is that
like the Fraggles.
Yeah, like all the babies know. It's like when you're playing as a little kid and you're
That's
like,
true.
hey, we're playing Power Rangers. I'm the Red Ranger. You're picturing your friend now in the Red Ranger outfit.
Right.
And
you're swinging your fist at the invisible putties or
Right.
the invisible like giant monster, and you can see that. Yeah, I guess that makes
and a lot of
sense.
it's just good improv where, you say
Right.
like, hey, I just punched Lord Zed in the face. Your friend's not going to say, no, he's not really there.
Sometimes they will.
Yeah, your shitty friends.
Sometimes they'll say, I already punched his head off. So
Yeah, he doesn't have a head to punch
unfortunately.
anymore.
Yeah.
In the little Muppetropolis Super Gonzo thing, we get a little bit where Fozzie is on the phone with his agent, Bernie, which I have to assume is a
Yeah.
call out to Bernie Brillstein, Jim's agent.
What's his agent called in his other agent, his real agent?
Well, I think his joke writer is Gags Beasley.
Oh, that's his joke writer.
Yeah.
Right.
I think we've
Okay.
heard about an agent or a manager before. Don't remember if it was Bernie.
I think Piggy had Bernie in the Muppet movie, right?
I think Bernie might be the one who calls her on the phone when she leaves
Yeah.
Kermit at the restaurant. But then we do learn that Officer Carruthers is a man of empty threats because he had said, I will not call again. Next time, I'm coming over there.
Yeah.
And the next thing we hear is Nanny saying, Officer Carruthers called again.
It's so menacing when she comes in and says it so politely too. And she's not even like, you guys have to be quiet. She's just like, it would be nice if you were quiet. I don't think Nanny's a very good nanny.
I think Nanny's a fine nanny. The kids treat her like she is awful. Every time they hear her coming, she's like, oh my God,
Nanny's
hide.
Nanny's coming.
I think they've watched too many TV shows where, there's a evil nanny or parent who's very bad to the kids. And so they just assume
Yeah.
that they're going to be in trouble, even though nannies
Right.
never really yelled at them.
Who is a nanny? Why are they here?
Why are
Do
any
they
of
have
us here, Sam?
Do they have parents?
That's something I will be very curious to see if they imply at all. If somebody says like, oh yeah, my mom and dad. Or, when Robin visits, who's dropping off Robin?
Yeah.
Does Kermit have a sibling that is dropping off Robin? Who knows? We just have to watch 100 more episodes to find out.
And Bunsen and Beaker, where are they coming from? Is there just another nanny in another house who's got a different set of the Muppets?
Oh God. Is that where all the less cool Muppets hang out?
Yeah, it got Bunsen and Beaker and Sam Eagle, baby Sam Eagle, baby Beauregard's at that one.
Bunsen's the cool one at that house.
Yeah, that's why he seems so sad when he comes to their house. Baby Swedish Chef. Ugh.
We do see him in the 2018 series. But that about wraps up the episode. Eventually the Muppets just get tired and go to sleep now that Officer Carruthers is off to work.
Yes, after they've ruined his life. I would assume this happens every single day. He calls them 5 times. And then he calls them to say, I'm going to work now. Goodbye. Why does he call and say that?
Yeah, no, he doesn't need to call for that one.
I don't think Officer Carruthers was real.
Ooh, do you
I
think
think
Nanny
Nanny's
made him up?
I think Manny's making this up.
Like, what's the most threatening thing I can threaten these kids with to be quiet? Because I'm just trying to sit here and read for a while. The
An
angry
evil cop.
cop next door. Oh, he's going to arrest you. Did you happen to watch through the credits of all these episodes, Sam?
Oh no! Does Baby Animal do something at the end of everyone?
He does.
Damn it!
Yeah,
no, I didn't.
You have to go back and watch those and then remember for the
Okay.
future episodes because every episode ends with Animal saying, go bye-bye.
Oh, go bye bye! I remember
Mhm.
that from my youth. Is that all he says? He just says go bye bye every time.
Yeah, there's variations on it. This one is just him saying go bye-bye as he falls asleep in their weird 2 cribs that they all share for some reason.
Yeah. I keep picturing as we talk about this, when in the Muppet movie, Robin is like, is this how the Muppets really met, Uncle Kermit? And then Kermit goes into a reverie for a moment and remembers the events of Muppet Babies. And he's like, no, I was part of an experiment where we were kept in a room for 5 years and a strange woman raised us. I don't know where we came from or why we exist. I don't know what happened to Skeeter. She was just taken away one day and we never saw her again. And then it flashes back and he's like, yeah, approximately. This is what happened.
See, I was thinking of it more of like a Muppet orphanage, maybe.
Oh,
but what you just
no,
said
Matt.
makes me think that it's more of like Muppet Stranger Things.
Yes. Yeah. They were raising. Kermit was number 1.
Skeeter
Fozzie
was
number
11, which is
2.
why she was taken away.
She had to go, and she's out there somewhere. She's trying to save them still.
I'd buy it.
The orphanage thing, I think, is a little bit more. I mean, that would also be a similar situation where Kermit would be like, well, I don't want to talk about being raised in an orphanage, so I'll make a movie about how I had fun going to
Yeah.
Hollywood with my friends.
Well, because, most nannies don't keep the kids 24 hours a day.
Absolutely not.
But next up, on September 22nd, 1984, we have Dental Hijinks, which is spelled
Wrong.
Hyjinks.
Yeah.
And who knows why? Because this is pretty much the only thing that comes up when you search for the word hijinks spelled that way.
Well, you know what? When they wrote this show, they didn't have a thing that would put a red squiggly underline under words you spelled wrong.
Someone's just like, hijinks, that looks right.
Yeah.
It needs a Y and an I.
All the way to the person painting that opening thing. Like, it wasn't like they did that on computer, I don't think. Somebody had to just be like, well, the boss says it's a Y. I know it's not, but what you gonna do?
Yeah.
This guy's written 70 episodes of the show and is stark raving mad.
This episode starts off with a race. It's the Indianapolis
must
5.
have loved this, right?
Because I like racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must have been like, that's not how it works.
I mean, they're not racing Formula One. They're racing IndyCar, which is different. So maybe they're doing it right.
That's true.
The biggest issue I see here, as far as a racing fan point of view, is these cars are not equal.
Oh. Yeah.
Kermit has a drawer with roller skates on the bottom of it. Piggy has a tricycle. And Scooter and Skeeter have a wagon. That seems fine. You
Yeah.
all have wheels. Fozzie and Gonzo both only have their feet to use.
Sad.
Gonzo's in a trash can, and Fozzie's in a box.
Well, they're the dumb ones.
I mean, Fozzie's car won't start, so clearly
Yeah,
the
he
box
did
is even an
something wrong.
issue. At one point in the race, Kermit needs to make a pit stop, and we see some footage of Jose Ligarza, an actual race car driver from the 1981 Indianapolis 500. All these clips seem to be from the same 1981 Indianapolis 500.
Yeah.
And Kermit gets real filled up with milk.
Oh, it's so fucking weird.
That's the
There's
most
no way to
anime
even
thing we've seen, I think, so far
Yeah.
in the Muppet Babies animation is the amount to which Kermit's head swells when he's full of milk.
Eyes like blob around.
And then it like
Yeah.
squishes down into his legs and body. It's like when you see those in between smear frames from The Simpsons, and you're just like, how? Somebody had to draw that and
Yeah.
think of like, this is what it would look like halfway through Bart turning his head.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure there's like dozens of those that we could find if we went through frame by frame.
Uh-huh.
Eventually, Gonzo wins the race after a massive pile up, simply because his nose extended out in front of the pile.
He calls himself Gonzo Granatelli. Is this a racing guy?
I think it's maybe Mario Andretti, but there's a lot of Italian race car drivers. So,
Granatelli Motorsports.
okay.
Vince Granatelli.
Okay, so there was a Granatelli.
I was really excited for a minute that Gonzo's last name was actually Granatelli, which is such a interesting last name for him.
I mean, it can be.
Yeah, he's just an Italian fellow. Instead of Muppets from Space, it's like
Muppets from Sicily.
everybody in Italy looks like Gonzo. And he just heads over there to his homeland.
Gonzo is excited to go to the dentist, or at least excited by the idea of Fozzie going to the dentist, because he says, quote, it's radical to go to the dentist and get your tooth drilled. He's
Yeah.
like Bill Murray in Little Shop of Horrors.
Uh-huh, a little sicko.
Yeah, which is not surprising at
No,
all.
works great for Gonzo. He'd love to go be killed at the dentist.
Piggy decides to keep Fozzie from going to the dentist. They're going to pull his tooth out. Animal is extremely excited about this and wants to just yank it out himself, which maybe they just should have let him.
It kind of feels like that's what they're leading up to because they keep showing Animal who's like, let me do it. And then, so I thought at the end he'd just be like, here we go. But he doesn't ever get to do it.
Unfortunately.
He'd have so much fun doing it, though.
He'd yank out like 4 extra, though.
Yeah, and he'd eat them.
Yeah, be like, hey, I need my tooth to put under the pillow for the tooth fairy. Where are they? He's like, go bye-bye.
Yeah.
Skeeter tries to tell Fozzie about the tooth fairy to, get him into the idea that losing your tooth is kind of cool. You get money for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Skeeter might be the tooth fairy, but nope, it's Gonzo.
I like this little segment too where so Gonzo and Kermit is like a businessman and Miss Piggy's rich and they have like a bidding war over Fozzie's tooth. I thought that was pretty good. Is Rowlf kind of like a southern gentleman rich guy?
There's a few, I think he's like an oil baron or something.
Yeah. Rowlf's very southern in this show.
Yeah, we see him later dressed as a cowboy. At one point, he's driving a tow truck during
He's
the
really
race.
gone back to like his country roots.
Maybe that's what it is. Like, yeah, if he hangs out with Jimmy Dean, he's got to be a little southern.
Yeah. I also think it's great when he says, "Don't ask me, I'm just a dog."
But also, yeah,
Kinda
you got a
cop-out,
bear
huh?
friend too.
Yeah,
Like,
you can talk.
yeah, you're clearly
he
not
does-
just a dog.
I feel like he leans on that excuse as an adult a lot too. He's just like, I can be ignorant. I'm just a dog.
Scooter says he's going to use his new computer program to figure out how to get Fozzie's tooth out.
This show is written by somebody who never met a baby and had never used a computer.
I mean, but this baby, Scooter, is very good at computers because he immediately makes a computer model of Fozzie.
Smart baby.
As he says, by punching up the proper coordinates, which is the way they did early CGI. Like when they had to do CGI back in the 80s, it
that's how you
was
draw a picture for sure.
Yeah, you had to type in math and just come back a day later and hope there was a teapot.
Hope that Woody from Toy Story was there looking at you.
Fozzie keeps changing the formula first to a vacuum, then to a man-eating chocolate cake, and then a
this is a very
self-propelled
loose
giant
understanding of
grill.
what a formula is. What is this? How is this even working?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know anything about 80s CGI, so I don't know how easy it was to change a bear into a vacuum. But seems like it would be more difficult than just shifting around a couple numbers.
Yeah.
But these are the designs, like the self-propelled giant drill that I was like, oh, these would be great to see in puppet form.
The drill was great. It looked like the birds in Alice in Wonderland with the scissors for faces.
Mm-hmm. And it would be one of those puppets where they'd dress in all black and they'd use their feet
Yeah.
to actually be the
really
bird feet.
spindly. Yeah.
There's just a few lines in this show that make me chuckle more than I expected a kid's show to. And they're not even good jokes. It's just the phrasing of certain things, like Fozzie's drowning in computer paper. Do something.
Yeah. What?
And there's just a massive pile of dot matrix paper covering the nursery.
Yeah. These are expensive babies.
And Nanny really should have heard that happening. Those dot matrix printers are not quiet.
Nanny's watching on a camera. She's just like, whatever. I don't need to do anything about it. Muppets are functionally indestructible. This is actually the easiest nannying job ever. They don't need to eat. They don't need nothing.
Yeah, one of them having a loose tooth is actually the worst thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, it's actually not right that he has a tooth, so we should probably call the scientists in and do something about that.
Yeah, he'll never have teeth again, I'm sure.
Yeah, the dentist is like, we'll take care of this. Cauterize the gums.
Defang Fozzie before he becomes a vicious bear adult.
Yeah.
Well, this is the moment when Rowlf suggests a little punk music to get the tooth out, and I was like, okay
this is gonna be good.
Let's see where this goes. So what we get is the Loose Tooth Boogie, a decidedly not punk song, where we get to see a bunch of disturbing images of tiny Muppets inside a human mouth yanking on giant teeth.
And I'm interested to see how often they reuse all this animation. I'm trying to like really like sink it in and see
Interesting.
if like when the Muppets when they're just like playing instruments and there's not like any tooth
Is it a
stuff
Charlie
behind
Brown?
them, it's like, is this going to be every time they play instruments? Sometimes their mouths will move just like very randomly. And I'll be like, this is one that they're planning to use a lot, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely shots where the line keeps going after their mouth has stopped moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if we will see some like Charlie Brown style dancing animations where it's just like anytime music starts getting played, they just start doing the exact same dance next to the piano.
Yeah. Yeah, like a pup named Scooby-Doo did that every single time.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine so. I have to imagine they reuse animation just to save money and time. But Nanny comes in and says that Dr. Frith had a cancellation. And so Fozzie can get in today. Michael K. Frith, the man who designed the Muppet Babies, along with, Fraggles and all the sexy piggy calendars and many, many other Muppet things.
All the kids in the audience are being like, what a great call out to my favorite Muppet concept artist.
Dr. Frith, woo! And once again, Gonzo does say they're going to make Fozzie look like Swiss cheese with how many holes they're going to have to drill in him.
Yeah, and everybody's just like, he's dead. We're never seeing Fozzie again.
Well, before they imagine that he truly perished, they have a quick aside for our Frankenstein segment.
Why?
This is one of those where they get to the end of the episode and they're like, we need to fill a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
So they have a quick imagination thing where Animal is imagining it that it's like Frankenstein with Dr. Froggenstein, Nurse Pigor. The episode goes a little bit off the rails here.
Yeah, I don't understand what they're even doing. He's like, we are going to hook your teeth up to his teeth and something will happen.
Yeah.
Surely something has to happen.
I did like Gonzo Dracula, though. Gonzola.
I miss Gonzo Dracula.
Oh, he comes in like right near the end of that. He knocks on the door and comes in.
Some of these dream sequences are the moments where the mind is wandering.
Well, that's perfect because that's when Piggy says that they should not let their imaginations run away with them because they can all just chill for an hour while Fozzie's at the dentist.
And they're alone in the house, locked in this room.
Presumably. But immediately, they just all freak out for an hour.
Uh-huh.
They have a very stressful, anxiety-filled hour of just kind of writhing around on the floor, assuming Fozzie is never coming back.
Eulogizing their friend who's dead.
But Fozzie comes back, shows that he got a balloon and a sugar-free lollipop.
Yes.
And now all the kids want to go to the dentist for their balloons and lollipops. Piggy wants braces, Gonzo wants false teeth, and that's just kind of the end of the episode.
Piggy wants braces.
That's what she says.
Implication being she's got her permanent teeth already. Piggy's 11.
I think it's more of an implication that Piggy doesn't know anything because she's a baby.
I think the person who wrote the show never met a baby. They don't know anything about it.
I mean, or it was like they wanted to write a baby show. They did know a lot about babies and said, oh, we can't make them like actual realistic babies.
Suck. Yeah.
Babies can't have fun conversations and adventures.
Babies crap their pants and look at the sky all day. Stupid.
That's what babies do.
That's part of what they do.
You just leave them out in the sun,
They're just
looking
like,
up at it all
They
day.
look through a window. They look at a book with like a big high contrast shapes in it.
And the last episode we're talking about today is the September 29th, 1984 episode, Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Dark? Featuring guest stars Bunsen and Beaker. Starts off, though, with Scooter having a fancy computer light pen, drawing on his
You got a
computer.
tablet.
And the kids want to imagine stuff that they could draw with the light pen, if only they could draw in the air. And so it goes from the actual useful computer that Scooter has to the imagination land.
Yeah, ridiculous flight of fancy from the Muppet Babies yet again.
Rowlf draws a giant piano that they can walk on. Fozzie draws an audience to laugh at his jokes, but they boo him instead.
They boo him, and it's the saddest part of any of the episodes we watched.
It's also, it's like, my imaginary friend doesn't want to be friends with me anymore.
Yeah, no wonder.
They found a better friend.
When he grows up, he's so sad, and it makes sense now.
But Bunsen and Beaker show up. They've come over for a play date. And at first, I wrote in my notes, Baby Bunsen is the worst.
His head is a horrible shape, for one. But what else?
Well, his
He's a little
voice
whiner.
is like Skeeter's voice, but worse.
Yeah.
Because it's more nasally and more gizmo-y, because Howie Mandel had just come off of being Gizmo in
He was
Gremlins.
stuck in gizmo mode.
And I thought Bunsen was the worst until I had to listen to Beaker for 22 minutes.
Yeah, having Beaker delivering actual lines of dialogue, not maybe the smartest idea.
Well, and the idea for a baby Beaker is just, what if he meeped, but at the highest pitch a human can hear?
Uh-huh. What? They could have made Bunsen be the one who's afraid of the dark. He could have at least then said things.
Well, no, because we get much better lines from Bunsen, who is just despising Beaker at
He
this
hates Beaker, yeah.
when they're like, "Hey, can you guys sleep over?" And he's like, "I want to sleep over. Please do
don't
not
invite
let Beaker
Beaker."
stay."
You have to let me spend the night.
He says he hasn't slept in 3 days, which for anyone out there, again, looking for some parenting tips,
Don't let him do that.
don't let your baby stay up for 3 days.
Yeah, don't let the other baby that your baby's sleeping in the same room as just scream all night long.
But yeah, I hope we don't see Bunsen and Beaker that often on this show
I
because
think we do. I think we see him a lot.
Beaker's so annoying and Bunsen's also pretty annoying.
I think it looks like they show up a pretty good amount, but
Ooh.
maybe they get better. I think he starts bringing over inventions more than he brings over his freaking problems.
Well, maybe they let Beaker not be the main character and talk so much. I found myself watching this episode turned down almost entirely down.
Because of his voice?
Yeah.
Wow,
was
maybe
so
he just
obnoxious.
got dog ears, you know?
My dog also did not enjoy this episode.
Oh, okay.
She was confused. One thing that's missing, I think, in this episode is Animal. He's there, but I think has maybe 2 lines throughout the entire episode and doesn't really impact the plot at all, which, based on the last 2, where he was very heavily involved and very dangerous, it was interesting to see him kind of have to take a back seat when they introduce some new characters.
He was having an off day.
Even in the trick-or-treating scene, we see him, I think, dressed as a flying monkey, maybe. But we don't actually get to see him be a part of that scene at all. He's just sort of in the background, sitting there with wings on his back. And that's during this part where Skeeter wants to show Beaker, who's afraid of the dark, how fun the dark can be. And we get to see them all in cute little Halloween costumes.
I like when they are thinking of how the dark is fun, and they're all just like, the dark's fun.
Yeah,
And it's like even the writers just like,
haunted houses, campfires, and ghosts. Like they only think of the worst possible examples.
Yeah, and then later on when they're trying to think of anything else, they're just like, we can't do it. It's almost like this was a bad premise for an idea or an episode. Oh, I forgot that the weirdest part of this episode is when they're like, Beaker, what's wrong with you? Beaker turns into his own bed. He turns into a bulb of light, shapeshifts into his own bed, and then acts out the monster coming out of his bed.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
And then when Fozzie gives Beaker his teddy bear, the teddy bear comes to life, apparently, rips up his clothes, and then Miss Piggy's like, your clothes aren't ripped up, it's just your imagination.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
They shouldn't do things like that. Scary.
Well, and it's sort of the idea of that collective imagination being unraveled, where we're currently seeing Beaker's imagination, but then Miss Piggy pokes a hole in it and is like, nope, that's not what we see.
This is why they're like the guys from Stranger Things, because they're mentally projecting things.
That's true.
I wonder how they lost that power as grown-ups. Maybe they didn't.
Maybe everything we've seen is a projection.
They just learned to control it. This is the most important piece of media we've watched so far.
And pure evil. How, like, those two things.
Pure evil. It's the dark heart of the Muppets.
It's the lost ark.
Our heads are just going to really slowly melt over the next few months. And by the end, we'll both be skulls and we'll be like, hey,
What
your head's a
happened?
skull. My head's a skull too. What the heck?
Muppet babies. We looked directly into Nanny's face.
Oh, no, don't do that.
I also like that you said, this would only take a few months. But moving on.
Matt.
I mean, we're not talking about season 2 until November. And there's 8 seasons of this baby. But around this part is when I started also wanting to fall asleep and realized this was my least favorite episode of the batch. Because, again, Rowlf is like, hey, maybe a song can help, which seems to be, we're going to have this unnatural transition in every episode of Rowlf.
Every single episode,
being like,
because Rowlf has to sing a song.
what if I tried this? It's sort of like the Uncle Matt's postcards segments.
Yeah. But they love Rowlf's songs, so
Yes.
that's okay.
But this is just another 50s style doo-wop song. I'm hoping maybe at some point we can get some Fraggle Rock variety where they switch
I
it
feel
up.
so sure in my heart that that's not going to happen.
I know, because the theme song's like this too.
Yeah.
So it's like they just went in and wrote all 100 songs first.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we should make a show about these.
Yeah. Muppet babies, go to sleep now. Go to the dentist. That's what it is.
That's every episode. But this is the Good Things Happen in the Dark song, where we learn that, without the dark, there'd be no Santa gifts or drive-in movies.
Yeah. That one's pretty compelling, I suppose.
Yeah, if you tell a kid, hey, if you don't go to sleep, you'll never see Santa, I think that usually works.
That's kind of scary in its own way, too, but yeah.
But Fozzie messes everything up because he's the one who mentions that haunted houses are also in the dark.
Yeah.
And he tries to fix it by mentioning campfires, but quickly mentions scary stories, and the slime monster returns.
A la Freddy.
He's saying like Freddy from Scooby-Doo?
No, from Freddy Krueger.
Oh, I was like, are you like on a Freddy basis?
If Freddy from Scooby-Doo appeared every time you thought about him too much, that might be useful. He'd be like, hey, I need somebody to help me move this couch. Think about Freddy for Scooby-Doo for a
Hey,
while.
I'm here. How's it going? I mean,
Hey, Fred.
yeah, Fred is definitely the one who would be most helpful in helping you move a couch.
Freddy Krueger would not help you move a couch. He'd slice your couch up. Even if he did try to help you.
Like, oh, I'm sorry.
A leather couch. This is going to be really hard. Sorry. Sorry, bitch. This is when Nanny also comes in and is like, oh, I this is how I got over the dark. I wore a sleep mask during the day.
Which felt like Nanny coming in clutch with an actual solution of, hey, I tried this. I wore a sleep mask during the day. I could take it off and realize, oh, I'm still safe. It's fine. But it quickly does not work.
No, because there's eyes in it that 2 people see.
Yeah, For some
and then
reason,
Nanny will like poke her head back in and say, Did I not mention that it was haunted by an evil demon?
you had it inside out.
Yeah, you have the demon side in.
You got to make sure the eyes are facing outward. Bunsen at this point says, we'll probably never sleep again. And he sounds so defeated and sad. But Fozzie reveals that how he feels safe at night is sleeping with a teddy bear. And at first, Gonzo laughs at him. But Fozzie reveals that Gonzo sleeps with a stuffed chicken.
Named Camilla.
Named Camilla.
What?
Will we see that stuffed chicken become real at some point? Or does Gonzo...
Does he meet a chicken? This maybe adds credence to him naming every chicken he's in love with Camilla.
Correct.
Shoot. I'm challenging all my preconceived notions.
Yeah, just every chicken that he finds attractive. Hey, Camilla, how's it going?
Yeah.
Some childhood trauma based on his stuffed animal that he's just like, I lost my stuffed animal once and now I'll never let you go.
Yeah.
You are my Camilla now. But this is also the moment where we get Gonzo flirting with Piggy and says, wow, she honked my nose. I think she really likes me. This is when they're trying to hide in the closet from the slime monster.
It's the ultimate challenge.
Yeah, because they're also trying to get Beaker to accept the dark. But it turns out he has lanterns and flashlights and more because he is prepared.
Because he's a little science man.
Yeah.
We often forget that he's a little science man.
He's not a science man yet, really. He hasn't gone to school.
No.
When the lights are turned out in the closet, though, you just get to see their eyeballs, like cartoons do, when it's just the white eyeballs glowing in the dark. The funniest thing is Bunsen's are just pupilless rectangles, but they're pretending they're in a dark cave, which somehow is helpful.
Less scary?
Yeah.
This cave's about the scariest thing you could be in
Yeah.
real life.
Instead of a dark closet, it's like, well, what if we were in a cave? Spelunking.
Yeah, where we could get into a tunnel that's too small for us to back out of and starve to death. I guess Beaker's very skinny. He could probably fit in a lot of tunnels really good.
They sent him in first.
Yeah.
But Beaker ends up scaring away the slime monster in the cave with a light pen. The thing from the beginning of the episode. And because he has scared away the monster, Beaker is now ready for bed. So all the Muppet babies climb into their 2 cribs, turn off their creepy clown night lights.
They're horrible. Yeah.
They have 2 of them.
Yeah.
One on each side. But
the fear has infected Kermit's mind now.
Yeah. Kermit does what I do often at night. Hear noises. Go, what? What was that? Do I have to get up and go check the kitchen to see if somebody's in the kitchen? Okay, here we go. And it's always nothing.
Wow, that happens to you?
Yeah. I'm a little scared cat.
If there was to be a noise, I wouldn't hear it and I would just be killed in my sleep. Preferable, I'd say.
I was going to say, if we're comparing the two, me confronting someone face to face versus you just not waking up. So yeah, let us know in the comments how you'd rather die.
How would you rather be killed by a home intruder?
Well, after the Muppets have gone to sleep and the credits roll, we do get a alteration on the go bye-bye. We get a go night-night as Animal is hanging in a cave like a bat.
Why?
Why not? Are you going to tell him no?
No, it'll kill me.
Exactly.
He'll crawl inside my body and burst out my stomach.
Pull all your teeth
little.
out.
He's little now, yeah. The only thing worse than Animal is a little animal.
Well, I guess we didn't ask along the way, Sam, but did you rate any of these episodes on a star scale?
I didn't. Out of principle, I didn't rate any of them.
Because the show is pure evil?
Compared to Fraggle Rock, I don't know how to, I can't compare it to Fraggle Rock, but maybe I'll start rating them. I'll think about it. It's just so weird that they at no point thought, shouldn't we have like a part of every episode where they're like, it's time for daycare,
Yeah.
It's time to go home from daycare. Why? There must be a reason to it.
Yeah, I wonder if they're just going to ignore that entirely.
I think they will. But when I was a kid, I remember also kind of thinking like, who is this lady? Where are they? Where are their parents?
Yeah, maybe we'll learn more about Nanny in the future.
Nanny only lets you learn what she wants you to know about her.
How about we move along to our Muppet of the Week? This week's Muppet of the Week is Skeeter.
Is Nanny a Muppet?
Depends on how desperate I get for characters by the end of the Muppet Babies. Because, to be fair, she is the only other character that we haven't met before.
Yeah.
So if we're looking for people to talk about, I guess Nanny might come up. But I kind of also want to learn things naturally about Nanny. I don't want to have to look them all up first and then
the mystery of Nanny.
But yeah, Skeeter is the slightly younger twin sister of Scooter. We will learn by only a minute. She is younger. And she was created specifically for Muppet Babies to add another female Muppet and to be the more athletic one and balance out Piggy's girliness. So she debuted here in this batch of episodes in 1984. And she does appear in the second and third seasons of the 2018 reboot of Muppet Babies, but she's not there from the very beginning. As far as performers go, Howie Mandel will perform Skeeter for seasons 1 and 2. Frank Welker will perform her for seasons 3 through 8. And then Cree Summer is the voice of her in the 2018 series. I'm very curious to hear Frank Welker's Skeeter, because in my head, Howie Mandel's voice, the Bobby from Bobby's World, is Skeeter.
I think I must know the other voice better, because when I heard her talk, I was like, that is not what I remember her sounding like.
Well, as far as their family goes, obviously, she has a brother named Scooter, conceivably has a mom and dad who divorced at some point because Scooter's mom is in a relationship with Ken in the 2015 ABC series.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that they have an uncle named J.P. Gross. So basically, all this information is learned because of Scooter.
A Scooter.
So,
yeah.
It's safe to assume that she also has an uncle named J.P. Gross because they're twins.
Yeah. Though that's strange to consider.
Yeah,
must be true.
it's a little upsetting, I gotta say. Like, that J.P. Gross is this baby's uncle. Skeeter, though, never appeared in traditional puppet form, but she did appear as a photo puppet in a couple of children's books. So there are photos on Muppet Wiki that you can see of a puppet version of Baby Skeeter.
A physical Skeeter.
There's also a large walk-around version of the character that was made for the Muppet Babies Live on Stage show.
Right.
There had been some appearances by a slightly older than Baby Skeeter. There's Muppets Kids books, whereas there's a preteen Scooter. And that's where we actually get to meet Scooter and Skeeter's dad in that, who he just looks exactly like Scooter, but taller and wears a suit. Then, for some reason, in 1993, there was a Carl's Jr. bag that had a bunch of Muppets watching a parade, and Skeeter is one of the Muppets watching the parade.
What the heck? Little Easter egg.
Yeah. But an adult Skeeter does show up in the 2010 comic book series. Throughout most of the series, she is just referred to as Scooter's sister because they weren't sure if they could include her because of the license agreement with Disney. But apparently, in the process of making these comic books, an arrangement was reached, and by the end of the story, she signs a letter with her name. But she also showed up a couple more times in some children's books illustrated by Amy Meberson, who had drawn the Family Reunion comic book as well. And in 2011, Meberson said, "I am determined to reestablish Skeeter as canon if it kills me."
It is really weird. Like, I guess now that people our age are starting to maybe be the ones in charge of this more and more, it seems likely that it could happen, that she could come back.
Right.
But it is weird that they just never were like, yeah, let's just make one for Muppet Family Christmas, or for Muppet Christmas Carol or something, or Muppet Family Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Like, to invent a whole character and then never mention her again
Yeah.
is somewhat bizarre. And there's actually a whole section on Skeeter's Muppet Wiki page about the disappearance of Skeeter and what's been said throughout the years. In 1993, Muppet Babies storyboard director Scott Shaw said that Michael Frith once explained that she's now a famous explorer, never seen again after an expedition to the jungles of the Amazon.
That's gruesome.
Yeah. In 2009, when asked what happened to Skeeter, Muppet writer Jim Lewis said, "We threw around various bizarre scenarios of what happened to Skeeter after Muppet Babies, but none of those were ever confirmed. Frankly, I suggest contacting the Federal Witness Protection Program for more info."
She's seen something.
Yeah. And then during a 2014 interview on the Inside the Magic podcast, Kermit the Frog said that Skeeter had been on meditative retreat ever since becoming a Buddhist. And then, when asked about his sister during a 2015 Twitter Q&A, Scooter said that Skeeter is currently studying overseas, and if she ever reaches dry land, she'll come visit.
So she's in peril a lot of these times.
Or is just an Indiana Jones. But there was also a fan-made podcast entitled Skeeterial, like cereal. That was a Muppet Babies investigation podcast launched in 2017. And basically they were watching all of the episodes of Muppet Babies in search of clues to explain what could have happened to Skeeter.
Okay.
I don't know if they made it all the way through Muppet Babies. I don't think they have that many episodes, so I'm not sure. I haven't listened to all of them. But I do love the idea of doing an entire podcast searching for Skeeter.
Do you think Skeeter will ever come back?
Yes. I think so. I think that would be a fantastic, easy thing to drop in.
Totally.
Because you don't have to
get people
recast
excited.
somebody. Like bringing,
Right.
I had talked about it'd be kind of like neat if they had brought back somebody like Clifford or somebody for the Muppets Mayhem. Like bring back a character that we haven't seen in a very long time. Introducing a character like Skeeter, I think would be a no-brainer. Like I feel like maybe if they had gotten a season 2 of the 2015 ABC series, it would have made a lot of sense if Skeeter had come to visit Scooter at work, and
Right.
everyone liked Skeeter more than they like Scooter.
Yeah, because obviously.
And she gets along with Ken. Ken bought her a new
sucks.
car. Like,
That would be awesome.
but that is all about Skeeter for now. If you had to rate Skeeter based on your very limited touch points with her, I don't assume she's going to change much from here on out.
Yeah.
But what are you going to rate Skeeter?
I thought I liked Skeeter, but I didn't like Skeeter in these episodes. So I don't know. I like the idea of Skeeter a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it makes, I think Scooter's great. I think it makes it more interesting to have a hypothetical, more popular sister, like you just said, even though I know that that's not real and that's just headcanon.
Sorry to give you a good idea that is not real.
That fake version of Skeeter would get like an 8 from me. The real Skeeter so far gets a 5 from me. 4 from me, actually. I
Wow.
don't like her. I didn't like Bobby's World either, so fuck her.
Basically, you don't like Howie Mandel's baby voice.
I don't like any baby voice.
That's right. Well, Howie Mandel, if you're out there, I guess we can never have you on the podcast.
I like Gizmo's voice though, which
Interesting.
is the same voice. So, but he's not a baby. He's just a little guy.
I mean, he is a baby.
He's 1,000 years old though.
Is he?
Yeah.
So, Sam, before we get out of here, I got to ask, what non-Muppet things did you enjoy this week?
Oh, we took a week off, and so I'm so confused as to what I've talked about.
You had so
and not
much
talked
time.
about. I saw, but what have I mentioned in the past?
I think Asteroid
saw-
City might have been the last thing you mentioned.
Yeah. I watched all of The Bear.
Ooh, I also finished
Which
The
I-
Bear.
Really thought I liked the first season a little teeny bit better, but I relate so much with that main character because he's just
Carmy?
like, yeah, he's just so obsessed with always getting something worthwhile done. And that is just like, the same feeling that I always have that I really wish I didn't have.
Yeah.
So that show really like speaks to me in that way. And I just like,
Am I the Sydney to your Carmy?
are you the Sid? No, you're his sister.
All right. I'm Nat.
You're not as mad at me as Sydney is at Carmen.
True, yeah. We don't yell at each other. We don't need a special hand signal for when we're apologizing to each other.
Yeah, the sister's a little like she's mad at Carmi, but they have a little bit more of a they have a more transparent relationship.
All right, I'll take that.
Yeah, and she's planning out the whole thing, you know. Oh, the second season kind of reminded me a little bit of Soccer Man, Ted Lasso, a little bit because
Yes.
there's like an episode where everybody has like a very accelerated arc of learning how to be a better version of themselves that is brought on by Carmi, who knows how to make people better but doesn't know how to help himself. So it's like this is like Ted Lasso, but a little bit less corny, I guess, is maybe, but it is kind of a little bit corny too.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some Ted Lasso vibes in season 2. In that the whole arc of the season is pretty much about like building a good team of people who can all work together and complement each other. And
Yeah.
Well, I saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
You kind of liked it,
I
right?
loved it, Sam.
Interesting. You loved
It's
it.
so good.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. It's I went in expecting garbage, honestly. The trailers for that movie are terrible, and the movie
Yeah,
is
they're pretty
much
bad.
better than the trailers. And even the trailer moments that I thought were bad in the context of the movie are well
bad.
done.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people who saw it say, "Hey, it's all right. It's not doing great in the box office." So
No, but I went with our friend Nick, who notoriously, critical of films,
hates everything.
doesn't
No,
hate
really.
everything.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Future soon-to-be guest of Commitment, Nick Jenkins.
One thing he doesn't hate: Muppet Babies.
He loves Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
But yeah, he and I walked out of the movie and we're just like, I liked it. And also, I feel like I should have something bad to say, but I don't have anything bad to say about it.
Huh,
Yeah.
that's great.
So good job,
job,
Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
Jones.
Wow, look at us.
Jinx.
Before we go, we have to let you know what we'll be watching next time. And guess what? More Muppet Babies.
Okay, that's fine.
Coincidentally, we are watching 3 more episodes from season 1. The first one is titled Raiders of the Lost Muppet. We've got Scooter's Hidden Talent and The Case of the Missing Chicken. And again, you can find these on archive.org if you just look up Muppet Babies on archive.org. But we will also be posting the links on Twitter, Instagram, and now Threads.
Oh, God.
For now.
Threads. Who needs that in their lives? I don't know.
Nope, not me. I'm barely on there, which
I'm just so
happy
confused by it. I don't want to look at it and see like Kylie Jenner. You know?
You have to.
What am I supposed to do?
The annoying thing is it's like TikTok. The more you use it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
And so the more you like things or respond to things or follow people, it's like, oh, okay, so you don't want to see Kylie Jenner. We'll hide that from you. So you just have to use it a lot to make it good, which makes me go, I'm never using this.
It makes me go, I'm so tired and old.
That is exactly my feeling.
I did this with Twitter for a decade, and I can't do it again.
Yeah, I think I'm getting into that camp where I can't necessarily completely delete social media because I do like some things that come out of it, and obviously it's good to tell people that you have a podcast. But I wish I could. And I think opening another app that's signing in and it feeling very similar to the other app is just like, I don't, why would I do this?
Putting aside the horrid racism of Twitter, it's like, I thought there were some weirdos on Twitter. There's some real weirdos on. Like, it's weirder to be like, good morning, what are you having for breakfast? Than it is to be like, uh-oh, my penis fell off. You know? Like, in a way, it's like weirder. And it's kind of creepier to just be like, this is what most people are thinking about. They're waking up and they're like, hey, hit me up with your favorite kind of milk.
I mean, no, it's because everyone's annoyingly smart about social media, and they see that what everyone sees when they open Threads right now are random tweets from people who have a lot of followers. And so if you want to get maximum engagement, you post the most benign, like, dull thing, and you know that the majority of people who use this platform are going to have an opinion, positive, negative. They're going to have an answer to what do you want like for breakfast. And so suddenly you have 10,000 replies and you're popping up in everyone's feed as someone they should follow.
Right, but you're the guy who said, what do you want for breakfast?
Yeah. I mean, it's better than the guy who said my penis fell off.
I don't think that's true.
Well,
I'll remember the guy who said my penis fell off forever. I won't remember the guy who said, well, I want for breakfast.
We'll put up a Twitter poll and see which one's worse. Oh, I didn't rate Skeeter.
Oh, shit. What did you rate?
Shit.
What did you rate Skeeter?
6.
Okay, great.
So we got to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. Don't forget to go to commitmentstuff.com to check out our brand new commitment merch. You can also email us at mail@commitment.com if you have any questions or links or secret unseen Muppet things that we can't find ourselves. If you want to have your review read out on the podcast, when those come in, we like to read them out. So if you want to leave a preferably 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, you can do that and we'll read it out in a future episode. But you can follow us everywhere on the internet at Commitment Pod, and you can follow me at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.